Kia te whānau, so here we are in this beautiful place.
It is beautiful,
Yeah.
and I'm staring at Buddha's head right now.
What's he got to say?
Oh, what would Buddha say right
Yeah.
now? Eh?
What would he say?
I'm not even going to go there because what a great human, but I feel the hardest thing is to keep the peace that we need to keep in our heart at this time of absolute trauma. And I think that's the hardest thing. I'm a mum of 2 teenage girls whose, their lives have been changed forever. And it doesn't matter what position you take on this, whether you're vaxxed or unvaxxed, or should we say jabbed or unjabbed, because some believe it's not even a vaccine, right? They are seeing friends being segregated at school. It's horrific. If you're not taking the mainstream point of view on this, you're outed from society. That is no way for a young person to grow up, and it's really freaking hard as a mum to help them navigate that, and at the same time we're navigating all of this.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Like and like you say, you can be either side of the story, but it's still the same plate, isn't it? We're sharing.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's where humanity has to come into play, and that's where I think we really do have to hold a lot of love in our heart, referencing back to Buddha, right? Because we all have strong opinions, whatever they are, on all of this. Okay, and I don't think it's right for me or anyone to force our opinions unasked on other people. And we are seeing that, sadly, all over social media. If you don't, the cancel culture, right? If you don't follow the, how to put this diplomatically, or should I just let rip?
Yeah.
If you are not following what the government says you should follow at this time, the bullying is extraordinary. And so then what happens is we get suppressed and our voices are hidden and we can't speak. And I'm sure you've been through this before, stepping out into this incredible platform that you have. And then you're now allowing for people like even myself to have a voice on this. And but at the same time, that's scary. And why should I be scared to have an opinion on this? Because what can happen, and we've seen it happen on social media, is the cancel culture is horrific. And that's damaging. It's absolutely damaging. It's going to take a long time to come back from the trauma of this time.
Yeah, you took the words out of my head. I was literally just thinking the long-term effect of that. People don't realize or don't see what actually will happen later on, and it's only just the beginning now of it.
We're in it.
Yeah.
So if we've learned anything from history, it takes a long time to recover, and we're talking decades. And we are throwing in mask wearing of our children. They're in an education system where their teachers are teaching behind a mask. Do you know how kids learn? I'm sure you know how a human learns, but a small child learns.
Yeah. It's all body language. Even all the language I speak, 80% of them are all pure body language, facial recognition, on their own terms, not artificial intelligence, but official intelligence.
100%.
Yeah.
And you're into language. I just learnt something about you before we jumped on here with the lingo side, right? But you also know that that's only a small part of a child's development. But it doesn't just, it's not just primary school, it's right through into the adolescent brain. And we're taking away a huge part of communication, which is affecting development, pockets of learning. No one can learn in heightened states of stress and trauma. We're not even functioning properly, are we? Like the uncertainty at this time, driven by propaganda and fear from our media, who have got to take so much responsibility for what they're doing. It's criminal.
Yeah, totally. Criminal's the perfect word. I call it as well.
Yeah, and I work in the space of well-being, And I hold no judgment one way or the other of how anyone wants to approach this. And this is not a conversation about vaccine either, whether you want to or not. That's up to you, and it should be your choice. Body autonomy, yes, no, whatever. But what I'm dealing with, and from both sides, is devastating. On a mental health level and emotional health level, is devastating.
So for someone like yourself, what is your background? What do you do, and in order to know about all these things?
Yeah, so I'm. I don't like labels, but I guess the best way to describe me is a well-being coach.
Right.
But I've got some training in ACT therapy, which is a form of CBT. And I am a meditation teacher, a yoga teacher, and a trauma-sensitive mindfulness teacher. And all of that creates the ability to be a wellbeing coach.
And so how many years have you been doing that for?
Oh, a long time now. Yeah. Probably officially doing the wellbeing space about 10 years now. Okay. But prior to that was image consultant, so working with colours and style, but always the inside out, not the outside in kind of thing. And then I just dropped that image consulting side and moved more into the wellbeing that's just more of my purpose and what I wanted to do. And I've been working with youth and at-risk youth for a long time. I was working at a university before the mandates hit and got mandated out of my job because of my choice. And we'll leave it at that. Because I also think that shouldn't be up for debate. I don't know why we think it's okay to shame someone on a medical choice or even be going around asking people's medical choice. Why is it okay to sit somewhere all of a sudden and go, are you vaccinated? Do you have herpes? Like, what the fuck? Why are we asking this of each other? It shouldn't be a thing. However, it's also not our fault that we're doing it. It's been driven that way. We've got an us versus them, a you are, you aren't, a, and then strong opinions. You went to the protest, they're dirty filth, I would never go there, blah, blah. This division is everywhere. Let's talk about the protest. I went down there to have a look for myself, and I so wish so many more people had done that. Not listen to the news, the mainstream media, not yours, but mainstream media. Okay, it's there. Everything is there. Take a little bit from that, take a little bit from what the government says, but the most important thing is start thinking for yourself and go there and experience it. And if you go down there and experience it and you still hate it, there's your opinion now, right? Yeah, but if you go there and open mind, open eyes and go, now there's an experience I didn't expect, or they've got a point, or in my case, this is two things, heartbreaking as heck, when you hear people's stories and take time to listen to people, go and see the jab injured and those that have died from this jab. That's a thing. That's a thing. And then also experience the extreme love where we remember what it was like and before all of this happened. And the actual love and care and the realness and the fact that people were cooking for each other and you were there. It's really hard to put into words. It was a feeling. And then come away with an opinion of, I can speak to that experience now. I often say this to people.
You don't know until you don't try, right?
Right, and this whole thing where, hey, I've read a book on how to sail a boat, so I can sail a boat now. You don't know anything about that protest or anything about what it's like to be segregated from society or anything about losing your job unless you've experienced it. Now, some will never experience some of those things because they chose to get jabbed or maybe they didn't, they got coerced. There's another experience, right? However, if you don't directly experience something, you can sit with empathy and compassion and actively listen to someone's story and go, wow, that must be tough. Now I'm going to hold some space in my heart for you. You have a strongly different opinion to me, and that's okay. That's allowed, because you're you and I'm me. And it can be a vastly different opinion, but we can still be humane and compassionate and loving and caring in this society. And that's where we have to move to. We're in a crisis of that. We're in an absolute pandemic of mental health. More suicides than there have been of COVID deaths. And my heart is broken for anyone who's lost any family member to anything. COVID, cancer, heart illnesses at this time, definitely mental health and suicide. It's all here. And we're focusing on this one thing.
There's no you without me, right?
Hey. Absolutely.
Just trying to think, prior to this, what else would you want to mention through this interview? Was anything else in particular, like any vaccine injured stories or anything in particular like that?
I don't have vaccine injured stories directly.
Okay,
You know,
cool.
for me, I guess my wish out of all of this, because this is what I do, I live it, I breathe it, I am it. I wish people would have more love and respect for each other. I wish we would care for each other more, so that we can lower the rate of mental health suffering that we're seeing, suffering in general, that we can repair the society and stop being so divided, and have some kind of hope for our future. Because at the moment, like, oh yeah, I hold hope, you know, we have to. But I'm very worried about my grandchildren, my children and their children, if we don't change something.
Because what's after that, right? If they grow up into that society, then that will be the new normal for them, right, I guess?
Yeah. And apartheid doesn't work out anywhere, does it? Have we not learned from history here? Any kind of segregation or any kind of division within a society is damaging and unhealthy.
It never lasts.
It never
lasts.
It never lasts.
Yeah.
It never lasts. Let's hold on to that.
Yeah.
I mean, our true nature is love. Our true nature as a human being is love. And we need to come back to that. And we need to be learning more tools to come back to that, because, it's hard going. It's really hard going.
And for the people who are out there, tell them, or if you want, your name and what got you started this in the first place.
So my name is Sam, and I remember watching when all of this unfolded, right back to with the pandemic coming out of Wuhan, and thinking, what's going on? This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Now is the time to sit back and witness, watch what's happening overseas, be very curious. If there's one thing that you can please instate in yourself is curiosity. Be curious and question everything that's going on. So I sat back and did that and went, what the heck? This is there's something serious going on, life-changing. Some people are calling it the fourth industrial revolution. Society is shifting. Pandemic aside, whatever your thoughts are on that, that's a whole different conversation, I think. But society is shifting, and we have a choice. All of us have a choice now. How do we want the future of our country to look? And if we don't take action, then it will just be mindlessly guided down a path, and wake up in 20 years' time going, oh, what's just happened? Now is the time to wake up. We have to take action. It can't, you know, it's like when you have a habit and day after day you keep doing this thing and you wake up and you go, oh, I wish I didn't do that, I'm going to make a change. But then you do the same thing day after day. And you've got to say to yourself, how's it working out for me? Well, please look at this time right now and say to yourself, how is this working out for me? How do I feel? Am I okay that parts of people in society are being, there are some people in society that are being removed? Am I actually okay with that? Am I okay that people have lost their jobs over a choice that should be theirs? Especially in our country, in New Zealand, like the Bill of Rights Act says it very clearly. We have the right not to take a medical treatment. So am I okay that people are being coerced? Am I okay that teenagers are being bullied online? And seriously, Louis, I'm seeing it. And it's horrendous. And adults. Am I okay with this cancel culture?
It's not the New Zealand I grew up with.
It's not the New Zealand I grew up in either. And it's not the New Zealand that I want my children. Well, my girls are, you know, older teenagers now, but I don't want them to have children in the future that you're afraid to even speak and be yourself and make choices for yourself that are aligned to your values. Maybe that's another question to ask yourself. What are my values? This is a time to dig deep. Who am I? What am I? And what are my values that I want to stand for? Because with that consciousness, we will shift society. And of course, when it comes to election time, when we shift our consciousness into something different, who leads our country? What's happening now is a direct relationship to our collective consciousness.
It's the war of information and consciousness, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
It's time to wake up. It's time to question everything. And hey, there might be some that are listening to this that truly believe that the way the government is directing our country is the right way. Who's to say that they're right or wrong? That's the whole point of democracy. You're going to have people that, you know, like the socialist point of view on things and like the direction. That's okay. And then there's going to be those that strongly believe it's the wrong way to go.
Discussions rather than arguments.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, if you don't like something, take action on it. Nothing will change without action. The right action.
Distance between dreams and reality is action, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add or say to the rest of Aotearoa the world?
Please be kind, and I don't want you to. I want us to own the true meaning of kindness. Bring more love into your heart. Be more accepting of everybody's point of view and everybody's opinion. Have respect. We need more respect. And please, from the bottom of my heart, can you start looking after each other? Particularly our children, our teenagers, they need you. And yeah, I guess love, 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 love. Please, more of it. In the truest sense, love without judgment.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
There you go.
What's up, I'm Terrell. I'm Lingo Louis.